You know. Merci. Merci tout le monde. Merci, Gary. Merci, Jean. Thank you, Jean. Gary, you are right. I am a friend of Scarborough. I could not be happier to be back here and with, in tow, oh, we can't see them, but they are there, an amazing group of Greater Toronto candidates, including, somewhere in the room, the great John McKay, who served this country. These are people who are working hard every day to fight for Scarborough, fight for Ontario, fight for Canada and Canadians. That's what we need. Look, Toronto's a place I used to call home, and a place that still feels like home to me because you are the heart of this great country. And Scarborough particularly embodies, I look at this room, what a room, what a room. I look at this room, and this is the extraordinary diversity and energy that makes Canada strong. People who have come from all over the world, themselves or their parents, grandparents, put down roots in our great country and literally have built Canada. People who come together when it matters most for your families, for your communities, and for your country, coming together when Canada needs you, and Canada needs you now. So I have a question. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who is ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada? Who's ready? Who's ready to help Bill Blair and the Liberal Party win the most consequential election in our lifetimes? And we need to win this election because of what's at stake. What's at stake? This week, the United States imposed massive tariffs on the world, but not Canada this time. But that only meant, yep, keep it going. I'm going to build you up. That only meant that this week we got the best of a series of bad deals for every country in the world. It's a grave moment for the global economy. The U.S. left in place, though, 3 other sets of tariffs that President Trump put in place, including on our auto industry, on our steel industry, and on our aluminum industry, threatening our workers and our businesses. And, well, they made all different excuses for each of these tariffs. All of these American actions are unjustified, they are unwarranted, they are misguided. And they're going to hurt. They're going to hurt the very people the president thinks he's supporting, the American worker. But they're also going to have pretty severe impacts here in Canada. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. This week's U.S. tariffs literally are going to rupture the global economy. They will bring hard times to America, and they will bring challenges for us here in Canada at home. But we're not just going to take it. We're not just going to take it. No, we are responding with purpose and with force. We will, elbows up. Everything up. Everything up. We will fight, we will protect, and we will build. And we already started fighting. We are fighting these American tariffs, these unjustified tariffs, with our own counter tariffs, including on U.S. autos, on U.S. steel, on U.S. aluminum, on a bunch of U.S. goods, don't drink U.S. bourbon, a bunch of U.S. goods that will cause maximum pain in the United States with minimum impact in Canada. And we're protecting our workers. We're protecting our businesses that are most affected because we are taking every dollar from those tariffs that we collect, and we're giving it back to those workers and those businesses. Because that's what you do. That's what you do in Scarborough. That's what you do in Canada. You take care of your own when they're under pressure. Above all, what we're going to do is build Canada strong. Now, again, I want to be clear with everyone. This will require some big changes, but we're ready. I'm ready. I'm not a career politician. No, I'm not a career politician. I'm not a career politician. That's right. It's obvious. It's obvious, yeah. And when I become a career politician, it's time to get rid of me, that's for sure. But what I am, I'm a pragmatist. I'm a pragmatist. So when I see something that's not working, something that needs to change, I will change it. And that's exactly what I did and what we did in my first week as Prime Minister. We saw that homes are too expensive, particularly for young Canadians. So we cut taxes on them, saving $50,000 per home. We saw that there were taxes, capital gains taxes, that were stifling builders and entrepreneurs, innovators, so we got rid of it. We reversed it. We recognized that the consumer carbon tax had become too divisive, so we eliminated it, and we eliminated it on day one. So if you're filling up your car this week, you would have seen the savings. You better have seen the savings. Let me know if you didn't. Let me know if you didn't, because we'll go after the gas company if they didn't. Up to 18 cents a litre at the pump. Nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions de Canadiens et Canadiennes de plus puissent en bénéficier. 5 more million people with dental care in the first week. Nous avons renforcé nos relations commerciales avec l'Union européenne pour que notre économie soit moins dépendante des États-Unis. Who wants to be less dependent on the United States? I put hands up. Et pour protéger les Canadiens et Canadiennes, nous avons conclu une entente militaire avec l'Australie. Good people, the Australians, reliable. Et renforcer notre collaboration militaire avec la France et le Royaume-Uni. Et nous accélérons le développement de projets d'infrastructures majeurs et faisons du Canada une superpuissance des énergies vertes et traditionnelles. Et finalement, nous mettons fin au dédoublement des réglementations. We did this because we know that we need to do, in this time, we need to do things that we previously thought impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations. And that goes to everything from the Scarborough subway extension, we got to speed up, to high-speed rail between Toronto and Quebec City. We need a new approach. A new approach, one project, one review. And because we need one Canadian economy, not 13, in the first week we agreed with all the premiers to eliminate barriers to trade and to labor mobility. I can't think of the last time that the premiers agreed on anything, except that they hate the federal government. This time we agreed. Our government, my government, and Chrystia Freeland's here, and she led this. She said, committed, that our government will do our part to make that one economy, to get rid of federal barriers by Canada Day, free trade by Canada Day in our government. So, in 9 days as government, before we called the election, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades in politics. That is, if I, thank you. That is, if Pierre had an imagination and didn't just mimic Donald Trump. Now, after doing all that, we began our campaign. And on day one, we announced a middle-class tax cut, delivering savings of up to $825 per year per family. Then we committed, under Bill Blair's leadership, to build stronger Canadian armed forces to keep our nation safe, to keep you safe. And to protect our sovereignty, including in the Arctic. Yeah. We went to Windsor and we unveiled a strategy for a more resilient made-in-Canada auto sector, and we took vital steps to protect our workers. We set out a plan in Montreal to invest in new infrastructure for our ports, to diversify trade away from, you guessed it, the United States. Earlier this week in Vaughan, we announced an ambitious new strategy to double, not increase, but to double the pace of new home construction over the course of the next decade. We did all of that in the 3 weeks since I became Prime Minister, 3 weeks to today. And I want you to think of what we could do together if the Liberal Party gets a strong, positive mandate from Canadians in this election. We need that. We need that because we are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes because of President Trump's unjustified tariffs and his threats to our sovereignty. Yeah. I like this room. It sounds, because I tried to channel some of that when I spoke to him last week. And I said I and we will reject any attempt to weaken Canada. Any attempt. We're going to send Michael Coutu down to deal with them. We're going to send any attempt to break us so that America can own us. That will never, ever happen. Look, it's tough. It is tough. I think X is in the process of taking themselves off as a communication company. The market is on, but it'll go. Look, we are over as Canadians. We're over the shock, and it was a shock, the shock of the betrayal of the Americans. But we should never forget the lessons. We have to look out for ourselves. And the values in Scarborough, Values of Scarborough, we have to look out for each other. We didn't ask for this fight, but Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. And in this trade war, just like in hockey and in soccer, we will win. Right? Now, like many of you, hockey has played a big part in my life. I grew up with the values I learned on the ice, at the kitchen table, and in the classroom. My parents were teachers who stressed the importance of hard work, of supporting our community, and of caring for other people. My hockey coaches taught me to play hard, to be ambitious, and, because it's Canada, to be humble. I kept those values close when I was managing those crises in Canada around the world that Gary mentioned in his introduction. I remembered them when I was helping others to work to build strong economies. And now I'm drawing on them to stand up to Donald Trump and to build the strongest economy in the G7, an economy that works for everyone in a drastically good way. Now, Pierre Poilievre doesn't get any of this because, and I've seen this movie before around the world, there's a type of lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market, despite never having actually worked in the private sector, never having had to make a payroll. And they get this reflex, which is always to cut and destroy. Well, President Trump has a plan to try to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan is to divide and be conquered. But this is no time for such divisive, angry politics, because negativity won't win a trade war. Negativity won't pay the rent or the mortgage. Negativity won't bring down the price of groceries. Negativity won't make Canada strong. And someone who believes that Canada is broken won't put Canada first. We will win this battle. We will win this battle if we are strong and united. Nous pouvons nous disputer au sujet de la politique. Nous pouvons nous disputer à propos de hockey. On peut être même un fan des Oilers à Scarborough. Si on parle en français rapidement. C'est un pays. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. C'est un pays libre. Mais quand il s'agit du Canada, nous sommes tous du même côté. Choisissons d'être forts. Un Canada fort. Look, it is our strength. What do the Americans want? They want our strength. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. Make no mistake. Never. Never. Canada. Never. Never. That's right. Little message. Never. 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 Because, you know why? You know why? Because Canada is not America. No. Look at this room. Canada is a mosaic. We are all Canadians. We are all distinct. America is a melting pot. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît jamais les peuples autochtones. et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada et le Canada n'en fera jamais, jamais partie des États-Unis. So we're all agreed we're not going to be part of the U.S. But the question is, what do we do? What do we do now? Fight. What do we do? Okay. One other thing. And build. No, we're in a situation where we got to distinguish between what we can change and what we can't. And it's not a big insight, but we can't change Donald Trump. We can't change Donald Trump. 78-year-old, I think he's kind of locked into some of this things. Just saying. But, and a person who draws their inspiration, their very words from President Trump, like Pierre Poilievre, he will kneel down before him before he stands up to him. As Premier Smith said, and I quote, Pierre Poilievre is in sync with President Trump. It's like a bad boy band. He's in sync with President Trump. Pierre Poilievre is also choosing to be willfully blind. Willfully blind. This is a choice. Willfully blind to the many and growing threats facing Canada. He refuses, for some reason, to get his security clearance. It is, let me check my notes, 937 days and counting. It took me 3 weeks. Pierre Poilievre, c'est la mauvaise personne au pire moment. Nous devons comprendre ce que nous pouvons et devons changer. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. Nous pouvons contrôler notre destin économique. We can control our future, we can control our economic destiny by building millions of homes, by building Canada into an energy superpower, by building new trade corridors with reliable trading partners, by building the strongest economy in the G7. And that's what we're going to do. But okay. I'm supposed to go back the way I came in, but I think I'm going to go back that way. We are passionate. There was a bit of passion there. We are passionate as Liberals. We are passionate about building a strong economy. Why are we passionate as Liberals about building a strong economy? It's because we care about people. It's because we know. It's because we know that we're all in it. We're all in this together. Et c'est pourquoi notre gouvernement a créé des places en garderie à $10 par jour pour les familles canadiennes. That's why we created $10 a day childcare. Et nous avons créé le régime canadien de soins dentaires qui aide plus de 8 millions de Canadiens à avoir accès aux soins dont ils ont besoin. De rien. We are fighting as Liberals for a strong Canadian economy so we can create the jobs of the future and so we can build a more sustainable world for our children and grandchildren. Look, I want to thank all of you for being here on a Friday evening. You have many other things to do. I want to thank all the people outside who couldn't make it into this room, who came out in support of their members of Parliament and the Liberal Party. And I know that many of you don't usually do this. Many of you, this might be one of your first, if not your first, political rally. Yep, hands up for that, yep. And it's because the stakes are so high. And I admire that. I admire that, but I also know that when the stakes are so high, it's unsettling. It's difficult. It's difficult for people. It's tough having this hangover. And last week, as an example of that, last week, it's unsettling, but it's not that unsettling. Last week, I met a teacher up in Georgetown, not far from here, near Milton, and she handed me some words from an assignment that she had given to her 9- and 10-year-olds to describe their dreams for Canada. And many of the children wrote about a country free of poverty. Others dreamt of clean air and clean water, or a place where everyone enjoyed equal rights, dignity, and respect. These are things these parents are teaching their children well. These are things we all want for ourselves. We all want for each other. These are things we as Liberals work for every day. But what struck me was that many of these kids, 9 and 10 years old, wrote about tariffs and threats to our sovereignty. These are words that I had not met at that age. I did not know those words at that age. The problem is there's some in the U.S. administration that hadn't met those words until very recently, but it's another question. Anyways, but I'm gonna quote one of the children's letters, which said, and I quote, "I dream of a safe, a kind, and a clean Canada. A Canada that is not the United States." Our children should be able to dream about those positive futures, ending poverty, equal and dignity lives. They shouldn't be worried about an economic crisis. So together, we can give them the future that they deserve. We can give them the future they deserve. Because we're not always perfect. We're not always perfect in Canada, but we always strive to be good. And in this country, in Scarborough, in this country, we do not do things because they're easy. We do them because they are right. And that's why I'm standing before you tonight. Canada literally has given me everything. My family, my education, and my values. And in return, I'm ready to give everything for Canada. And to help me, let's do everything we can to send a strong group of GTA Liberals to Ottawa to join me so we can all build Canada strong. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Vive le Canada.
نام عبدالرحمن 15 سال شده از پارتی لیبرال کانادا هستم و برایشان والنتیر کار میکنم و این حزب بسیار منفعت‌های را برای مردم افغانستان بخصوص به مهاجرینی که از خارج کانادا آمدین اینا فراهم ساختین. ما از همگی هموطنان افغان خود و همگی مهاجرین خواهش میکنم که به حزب لیبرال رای بدن.
اگه بگین که برای پیامتون برای افغان کانادایی چی هستن که این انتخابات چقدر مهم است، چطور بیان سهم بگیرن، سرنوشت خود تعیین کنن مرد و زنشان که در اینجا سیتیزن هستن.
اگر در این انتخابات شرکت نکنن و این را به اهمیت فکر کنن، شاید سرنوشت کانادا هم و سرنوشت امریکا خواهد دچار شد. یک دونالد ترامپ دیگه خواهد باز اینجا انتخاب شد که باز او وقت هیچ کس نمیتونه جایگزین از او شد.
این اهمیت انتخابات بگوین که خود هم انتخابات رای دادن یک پروسه سیاسی چطور هم وکیل خودت این کردن، این را بگوین که چقدر مهم است اینجا و پیامتان برای افغانان.
خب ما خواسته های خود در اینجا از طریق وکیل خود به مرجع قانونی میرسانیم و همون چیزی را که ما ضرورت داریم یا کمیونیتی ما یا منطقه ما باز اونا میرن اونجا تصویب میکنن، از طریق قانون باز او را اجرا میکنن. این بسیار با اهمیت است که باید هموطنهای ما در این انتخابات شرکت کنند.
زه جنرال زهیر وردګ او نن د مستر مارک کارني محفل ته دلته دعوت شوی وو او د لیبرال پارتی کاندید دی او فعلا ما صدر اعظم او پاینده کې ان شاء الله صدر اعظم دغه مجلس ته راغلی وو. د افغان کینیډینز لپاره په ټول نه مهمه ده چې د هغه ګوند پالیسی او برنامه وګوري. دا تنها په سلاګنز یا په شعار باندې نه کېږي. یو نفر کېدلی شي ووایي چې کراکډل پرواز وکړه یا فیل پرواز کوي، خو نه کېږي که نه. یو څه دي دا هغه کمپایني شعارونه دي چې هغه عملي نه دي. د ما په نظر د لیبرال پارتی لیډر یو منظم پلان لري او د اقتصاد کې دکترا لري او تکړه کس ماته معلومیږي. نو زه شخصا هغه ته هم رای ورکوم هم ورته کمپاین کوم. هغه په دې خاطر باندې چې زما اولادونه پاینده کې دلته لویږي، دلته ټاکس ورکوي، دلته مکتب وایي، دلته سرویس اخلي. نو باید موږ د کانادا د قوانینو سره او خصوصا په انتخاباتو کې انټیګریټ شو، یعنی ورسره کومک وکړو. در غیر دونه که موږ ځان خاموش ونیسو چې په ما یې څه، نو بیا زه د دې وطن په سرنوشت کې چې سهیم نه وم، نو زه بیا ګیله هم نه کوم. په دې خاطر زه دغسې یو چا ته رایه ورکوم.
My name is Cyrene Qureshi.
And why you're here today?
I'm here because I've always been here, in my opinion, because I even started volunteering with the Liberals in 2011, first provincially and now federally.
If you can tell us about the importance of election for many of these newcomers when they become citizens from different part of the world, what is your message to them? How this election is important, how they should come out and vote?
Honestly, I feel like even though it's not only the election that's important, but also getting involved with your campaign team, even your MPs and your writing. There's so many ways to do things and even be a part of things. And I think in Canada, it's a great place for even to have that your say in an election. So I think it's important that we all go out there and have our voice and say what we want to, because we are just as much Canadian as anybody else, even though we have different backgrounds, but we are at heart truly Canadians.
My name is Lydia Akpocher, and I am originally from Nigeria. I'm an African Canadian.
Why you're here today and why you support Liberal? What policy?
I am proudly Liberal because I think Liberal is the only party that I would say is God-centered. Sorry to say if I offend anyone, because God is supports everyone, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of your shortcomings or your color or what language you represent. God gives you that support. God helps you. So that is what Liberal stands for, and that is what I also stand for. I don't stand for any judging any culture or judging any tribe or religion, because I'm not God. Even God doesn't judge anyone, but do the right thing and Liberal, that's what we Liberals, that's one of our core values as a Liberal.
And then if you can tell me, like, what's your message to many of these communities, like African Canadian or other communities that they become Canadian citizen, to participate in this political process, to vote, to choose your MPs, to be part of this campaign.
it just makes sense to be a part of this, because you have the right to choose. You have the right to participate. So you should be involved so that you can add your value. And just choosing to be a liberal makes a lot of sense, because liberal is home for everyone. It doesn't discriminate against anyone. It doesn't look down on anyone. It's humble. Everything about liberal is good. So support, come out and be a part of this movement. Come out and be a part of supporting Canada grow. Come and add your own quota. Contribute to your own, whatever you have, whatever you can bring to the table to make Canada a better country for today and for tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.